Hello everyone, and welcome to the weird, scary and horrible parts of humanity. Today we are looking into one of the most sadistic serial killers in Brazil, Marcelo Costa de Andrade, known as the Vampire of Niteroi. Born on the 2nd of January 1976, Marcelo Costa de Andrade was born in Roquina, a favela or slum in Rio De Janiero. He lived in a broken home with his mother, a maid who was constantly abused by her husband. His parents were migrants from Ceará, northeast Brazil. Andrade himself was regularly sexually abused by the age of 10. For a while he went to live in Ceará with his grandparents, where he claimed to have earned a lot of money. However, it is unclear how he earned his money. He was sent back to Rio de Janeiro, however, where he was sexually abused by his stepfather, his mother having divorced her husband. He ran away from home and became a prostitute. Andrade was admitted to a boys' boarding school, Casa dos Meninos, for boys aged between 6 and 14. While there, he was the target of bullies and was called a retard. As soon as he reached 14, Andrade left school and became a male prostitute. In Brazil, while the age of sexual consent is 14, prostitution is legal. However, organized activities such as brothels and pimping are illegal. However, one time an old man forced him to be submissive and committed BDSM acts on him, which deeply disturbed Andrade and led him to attempt suicide. He was then sent to the Casa Foundation, the Service Center for Socio-Educational Foundation Adolescents in Brazil, which carries out the socio-educational measures applied by the judiciary to teenagers who committed offences when under the age of 18, but he fled months later and went back into male prostitution. It was at the age of 16 that he met Antonio Batista Freire, who became something of a sugar daddy for Andrade, with Freire also a homosexual. Freire introduced Andrade to the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God. The Universal Church of the Kingdom of God is an evangelical Christian denomination which is headquartered in Sao Paulo, having been founded on the 9th of July 1977 by Bishop Edir Macedo in Rio de Janeiro. Bishop Macedo has owned the church since 1989 and also runs and is chairman of the free-to-air TV network Record TV, which owns 14 TV stations across Brazil. Today, the church has 8 million members and is active in over 150 countries, with 7 million members in Brazil. Despite Freire's financial support, Andrade continued to prostitute himself and even attempted to rape his 10-year-old brother at the age of 17. Freire separated from Andrade when he was aged 18, and Andrade returned home permanently. Andrade then began distributing flyers from a restaurant and undertaking household chores, but continued to attend services at the Universal Church of the Kingdom of God and watched daily TV celebrations broadcast by the church, and also began reading Bishop Edir Macedo's preachings. He also started listening to children's music by Maria da Graça Zuxa Mengel, reading porn magazines, as well as listening to a tape recording of his brother crying. It was while living at home that Andrade decided to seek revenge against boys for being bullied in high school and for what had happened in his life. He also stated that he was influenced by the beliefs of the Church of the Kingdom of God, believing that he could not kill adults because he could be sending them to hell while children would be able to go to heaven. Additionally, Andrade was stimulated when he had sex with a 14-year-old transvestite prostitute in a hotel and wished to re-spark that feeling. Andrade's modus operandi would be to stalk his victims because they reminded himself of being a child, with all of his victims being male, lower-class boys aged between 6 and 13. He would then lure boys to non-populated areas such as beaches, hills, or sewer channels, where he would rape and strangle them, mostly with their own t-shirts, or smash their heads in with rocks, drinking their blood, thinking that this would make him beautiful like them. He would also engage in necrophilia or cannibalism and take the clothes as trophies. Bizarrely, he would then return to the crime scenes and bring food with him in order to feed his victims' spirits, and once decapitated a boy so that the victim could be bullied as he had by other children in heaven. In total, he would murder 14 boys. With his first victim, who was unnamed, Andrade attempted to rape the boy, and when this failed, stifled his mouth with stones and then raped him before killing him by strangling him with his t-shirt and then removing the boy's teeth and shorts, keeping the shorts as a trophy. He then proceeded to kill 11-year-old Anderson Gomez Golart, raping, strangling and decapitating the boy, as well as drinking Golart's blood while committing necrophilia by raping the corpse. His third victim was an unnamed boy who was strangled with his own t-shirt by Andrade, who had his teeth removed after he died. His fourth victim, in June 1991, was Jose Muniz dos Santos, who was aged 11. Andrade met Santos at a bus stop and invited him to come to his house so that his aunt could give him money. He then took Santos to an abandoned football field where he raped and strangled the boy to death. After killing Santos, Andrade went to his house and convinced his mum to give him a machete. Returning to the abandoned soccer field, he then proceeded to decapitate the body. His final victims were 7-year-old Ivan Medeiros de Abreu and Altair Medeiros de Abreu, aged 10, on the 16th of December 1991. Both were brothers and had 5 additional siblings, and their mother was a domestic worker. They lived in a poor area of the neighborhood, Santa Isabel, in Rio de Janeiro. Both boys passed through the train station of Niteroi, which neighboured Santa Isabel, where they were approached by Andrade, who offered them 4,000 cruzeiros, the currency in Brazil until 1994, which was about 30 cents, to undertake a Catholic religious ritual. The three took a bus and got off at a deserted beach on the outskirts of the Barreto Viaduct. Andrade immediately tried to kiss Altair, who rebuffed his advances and fled, scared, but was captured and knocked to the ground with a rock, while Ivan was sexually abused, raped, and strangled by Andrade, utilizing his own t-shirt. Altair was not informed of his brother's death and was told by Andrade that he was sleeping. Altair, fearing that he would be killed, allowed Andrade to rape him repeatedly. Andrade then took Altair to a petrol station, where Altair wiped himself down, and both slept in a thicket. The next morning, they left for Rio de Janeiro. Andrade even offered to live with Altair, which he agreed. He openly fell in love with Altair. It was this submission by Altair which led Andrade not to kill him. Andrade then went to the restaurant that he worked at to get pamphlets, and once he had distanced himself, Altair fled. Altair returned home and only told his sisters the next day, on the 18th of December 1991, having told his mother that he had gone missing. Andrade did not attempt to look for Altair, but did return to the beach to move Ivan's body. Police arrived a few hours later and discovered that Ivan had been sexually abused, and when the corpse was identified by his mother, Altair led police to Andrade, who confessed immediately upon his arrest, and later confessed to his previous murders. Andrade was declared insane and sent to Henrique Roxo Psychiatric Hospital, where he remains. He escaped on the 24th of January 1997 in an attempt to make his way to the Vatican before being rearrested on the 5th of February 1997. His defense did attempt to get him released in October 2017, but had no success, and he remains in Enrique Roxo Psychiatric Hospital. Thank you for watching. Please do yourself a favour and hit that like and subscribe button and the bell icon to inform you when new videos come out. It helps more than you know and your support is truly appreciated. You'll also be seeing 2 other videos for you to check out. Until next time, stay awesome, stay classy, be kind to everyone you meet, and have an amazing day.